Welcome back to WTOP's Beer of the Week. Joined as always by Greg Engert, Beer Director for the Neighborhood Restaurant Group, a James Beard Award nominee. The group includes Rustico, 2 locations in Alexandria and Ballston. Also, what was I going to mention? GBD in DuPont Circle and Iron Gate. Highly recommend both. Greg, it is always good to see you.
Good to see you too.
What is on tap this week?
So, 2015 is an odd year as far as dates go, and Stone embraces that by doing these cool odd beers for odd years series that they have going on. So, in addition to their classic rare beers they release at certain points throughout the year, they like to, on odd years, release spins alongside those classics. So it being 2015, it being roughly tax season, we can always expect IRS to come from Stone, which is literally the Imperial Russian Stout, coming out intentionally every year right around this time. But because it's an odd year, not only do we get classic Imperial Russian Stout, we get this chai-spiced Imperial Russian Stout. So see how this goes.
Oh. I guess, I have to be up. I don't know if I've ever had anything that has chai in it. Is it ginger-based? It smells...
Yeah, exactly. They break it down. So it's cinnamon, cardamom, clove, ginger, and then you got the black pepper, black tea.
I really like that. Guess, is it hard to imagine me drinking a chai tea from Starbucks?
Latte,
yes, or chai latte. Yeah, that is great.
Isn't that cool? It's really well done. Now, obviously, when you're going to release a beer like this alongside standard Imperial Russian Stout, you want this to stand out. So the spicing, I think, is emphatic without being completely overwhelming, but it's there. I mean, it's there, but it blends in obviously great. You've already got a beer that's got blackcurrant, chocolate, espresso, the black pepper, black tea works in nicely, and then those spices are really vibrant, but they have that earthy quality that works, I think, as well.
What is there? These guys sung Stone's praises a lot, and thank goodness for odd years if this is what we get. It's just tea and spices added.
Yeah.
Odd year release, 10.6.
Nice and big, but balanced,
And in recent weeks, like we were talking about Stillwater, you talked about, test batches. I imagine that a number of those are done in here.
And the thing is, like, they played around with chai a little bit and other beers and, like, little one-off and pilot batches and things like that. So this is the cool thing about brewing is you don't necessarily even it's not just from brewing a number of the same beer that you get it right. You learn lessons from the usage of these spices and black tea and chai generally from other batches, and you apply those in other beers. You apply those lessons to these beers. And so I think over time, as a brewer has a really amazing body of work, that's an amazing body of work that they draw on as they push forward. And the other cool thing about Stone is the base beer for this, the Imperial Russian Stout that comes out every year around tax season, is the exact same recipe as it's always been since 2000, when Steve Wagner, who is one of the founders of Stone, created Imperial Russian Stout for the first time. It is the same one. I mean, so you talk about ahead of the game. Like, that's still one of the best Imperial Stouts in the U.S., and it's been around for 15 years. And it's been around for 15 years. And who would have thought in 2000 that in 2015, not only would the same beer be coming out and feeding hordes of beer geeks, but also now you'd have a chai version that tastes this great. It's incredible.
It's so good, and it's perfect because, there's only two things when it comes to tax season. You're crying because you're writing a big check.
Yep.
Or you're happy because you got a giant refund. So
and either way, it's just like a sports, right? It's like if you and either way you drink, right? So it's just like a sports. If your team wins, you drink to celebrate, and if they lose, you drink to forget. Same with taxes, I think.
Now, does this pose a challenge? What would you pair it with?
I don't think it does. I mean, I think in a lot of ways it's going to go with anything that Imperial Stouts do, and then add these additional spices. What I've been thinking about with it though is like Indian cuisine with this, because masala chai comes from Indian spices and cooking. The tea does, and I think that blended in with this Imperial Stout works well. I mean, you could do it with all manner of curries like tikka masala, Vindaloo, although I would be, the thing you have to worry about when you're thinking about doing this with Indian food is if it gets too spicy, it's 10.6%. It's going to light up that alcohol and maybe overwhelm everything. But I mean, that said, I could see this with curries that are going to pull out a lot of similar spices. I can see it with just straight up tandoor, roasted chicken. Anything that's got lamb, obviously, is going to be amazing. Even like, I love samosas. Those little fried potato pea dumplings are rich. They could stand up to this. Get some seasoning additionally from the chai spice itself. And then also like palak paneer, like that beautiful spinach dish, because I love roasty, chocolatey flavors with earthy spinach as well.
I think when this episode airs, I'm going to be in San Diego or about to leave for San Diego, and we don't have a lot of time, but I mean, wow, what a cornucopia, and there's a word I use a lot, of places to go. I mean, Stone, you've got Alpine out there.
AleSmith. AleSmith makes some of the best beers in the U.S. We can't get them out here.
Makes Sculpin, I'm spacing
Ballast Point.
Ballast Point. I mean,
You've
ridiculous.
Got Port Brewing. You've got Lost Abbey.
Yeah.
It's an embarrassment of riches out there for sure. And Alpine in Nelson, but also recently purchased by Green Flash.
Right.
You'll find Green Flash in San Diego, and they're brewing some Alpine beers. So you can you'll see more of it out there than I think you would in the past.
Okay, well, yes, I'm here. Greg, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Everyone, please always do drink responsibly and be sure to bring your thirst next time for another Beer of the Week.